Time, PEACHY time.
Let's talk about real life issues, love and relationships. Let's have a good time with the missus, yeah. Celebrities. Let's talk about current events. Let's talk about things you don't see on regular TV. So join in on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Tune in on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Come join us on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Join us on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Yeah. Let's talk about
Time, PEACHY time.
Let's talk about real life issues, love and relationships. Let's have a good time with the missus, yeah. Celebrities. Let's talk about current events. Let's talk about things you don't see on regular TV. So join in on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Tune in on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Come join us on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Join us on PEACHY time. PEACHY time. Yeah.
In order for y'all to do what God is calling y'all to do, to take y'all platform for it to plateau and it can go to levels that you never seen, they'll best believe it's gonna come with devils.
You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. But I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Holla. Fully crazy, y'all. Fully crazy. Hey, y'all. It's your girl, the missus with the kisses. Mwah. What's good? Thank y'all so much for joining tonight. And I apologize about the double play. You know, sometimes people in the back need to hear this shit again. Okay. Now, explicit language, and also allegedly. Okay. But I'm so thankful that y'all here. We're gonna have a good legendary show tonight. Okay. I got to bring up my co-host. I have to bring him up next. But before I bring him up, I am gonna need him to help me out with this. I ain't gonna even lie. But I want to discuss what our show is going to be about tonight. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him up. Okay. Here's our boy Jason.
Yeah, what up, though? You already know what it is, man. Welcome in. I see everybody out here. I see we got just about everybody in here, man. If you in here right now, hit us with a hashtag PEACHY time. You know what I mean?
Yes. And this is Peachy News Edition, baby. It is Peachy News Edition. Okay. I see we got a lot of people out here. They was waiting on us, Jason. I'm so thankful that y'all are here. If this is your first time joining Peachy time, welcome. I like the hand clap button. And I also like to say this. Shout out to God. Shout out to God.
For sure.
Yeah, that's my favorite line. But I want to say this. Usually on Wednesdays, we have families that are. Let me play my music. You know, my music, Jason, it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable.
It has to. It should.
Yeah,
it should.
It makes me feel more relaxed. See? Hey. Yes. Shout out to the streaming service that I use.
That part.
But anyways, tonight's show is a little different from what we usually have on Peachy News. We always have a family in, you know, as long as there's a family available that wants to come in. And majority of the time it's about somebody that was murdered. Okay. And it's either more than likely it's the family member that comes on. Right, Jason?
Yes, ma'am. as well.
Yeah, it's the family members that come on. So tonight, I had turned down. So tonight, like I said, is a little different. Okay. But over here at Peachy Tea Time, anybody's welcome. Anyone is welcome to come to Peachy Tea Time to spread awareness, to get a little bit of healing at the same time, and bring the awareness of what's going on out here in these streets in our community, our Black community, So with that being said, there was a 2-year-old that was murdered, but it wasn't for him at all. So the family that's here tonight is one of the children, which was the youngest one, and this made headline news, y'all, may I add. But the youngest one was there. That's what we'll say, was there. They're going to elaborate more on the story, but as far as right now, I'm going to say he was there. I did do my research. Y'all know I do my research.
Yeah,
yes. Jason did his research just as well. I do have clips that I will be showing tonight just as well. Basically, just letting you all know what the public saw. Okay? Now you have the mother and the auntie here to tell their side of the story as far as their son, Tyree. Okay? But I still don't want us to forget that there was a 2-year-old that is gone. So rest in peace to that baby. Our hearts goes out to the family. But tonight, we're focusing on the amount of time that Tyree was facing during the whole trial and everything. And I want y'all to check out these clips when we play these clips, so y'all can see how things was just all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. Wasn't it, Jason?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to look back on some of the videos and some of the clips, which I'm excited to hear, what you guys think when you kind of grasp where we're putting down here in front of you, how they worked and handled the situation with this young man. So it's very interesting nonetheless. So I hope you guys gain interest and help as much as you possibly can when it comes to helping this family out and finding resolve and getting some real answers for this young man that's already spend a good amount of time that he shouldn't have in the prison system.
Exactly. This happened when he was 15 years. He was charged when he was 15 years old, and he is now 24 years old. So this is what we're going to do. Anyone that's out there watching, and if you watch this show from the beginning to the end, and you feel like you can help this family, we're going to put up the call-up number for only that person to call in. Everybody else, use the chat. Be respectful in the chat. But most importantly, if you feel like you can help this family in some way, or somebody that can help this family in some way, please call in at the end of the show. And I do mean at the end of the show, because I'm putting the number up at the end of the show, because I don't want no weird people calling up here acting crazy and shit, because I will hang up on you after I say a few cuss words. Please. We ain't even trying to go that route.
We ain't even trying to go that route. Right.
You know what I'm saying? We all got our own opinions to everything. But at the end of the day, I hope that you all would agree that this young man should not have been facing this much time. And he was, allegedly, he didn't even do the shooting. So, let's get started. We're going to go ahead. We're going to bring up the family, y'all. Look, I just saw Miss Patricia go. Like, exhale. She done called our asses up. We on the way. We on the way. Yes, baby, y'all is on the way. But we are going to start with Auntie first. Miss Auntie Melissa. So, Auntie Melissa, welcome, baby.
Hey, Peachy and Jason. Thank you guys for giving us this platform to speak on my nephew. We've been waiting quite some time to even speak out, trying to give the system a chance. But now it's time.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate you for having us.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm honored. Really honored. One thing that I usually say on my show, Melissa, is when I'm doing these shows, it's not a lot of clips. It's not a lot of clips of our community on YouTube or on the news.
Yeah.
When I tell you, y'all had so many clips. It was so many clips out there. Like, so many people knew about this story. Even when I posted the flyer, people was in my comments talking about, oh my gosh, this was a sad situation.
Yeah, it was all over the place. Like, on news all day, every day. Biggest story around. Yeah, it was.
Well,
And
we're
then we
going to
had-
get into all of that. We're going to get into all of that. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So let's go ahead and bring up Miss Patricia, which is Tyree's mom. Here she is. Here she go, baby.
Hey.
Hi, Miss Patricia.
Hey, Peachy. Hey, Jason.
How are you feeling tonight?
A little nervous.
I said, don't.
I could imagine.
I can imagine too. I could definitely imagine. One thing that I can say is that I'm not, now people that watches my show all the time, they know how me and Jason are about Peachy News. You know, we go dig down deep. We try to get everything out there. We don't edit nothing. You can say whatever you want to say, all of it, you know. But they know that we play clips. Okay, they definitely know that. So with that being said, y'all, I didn't surprise Miss Patricia. I sent her the clips exactly that we'll be playing, and I didn't want to surprise her with anything. Okay, because this is a very, very, very touchy subject. Am I right?
Yes, you're correct.
Very touchy subject. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get started. Tell us a little bit about Tyree.
How
was he back then when he was 15?
Just like a typical 15-year-old, hanging with his friends, playing video games. He was doing pretty good in school. Active in like after school programs, basketball, football.
Okay. Now, was you having any issues with Tyree?
He did have some incidents. Like he got caught stealing a bike inner tube from Walmart because he got a flat tire. So he stole the inner tube. And so he got into some trouble for that.
Okay. But besides that, you know, he was a typical teenager.
Typical 15-year-old, yeah.
He was 15 years old. Okay. So how did everything occur? Like, what happened that day? So let's start early that day. What happened that day?
So early that day, he was with his friends, and I was at the gym. And so I got a phone call. Like I said, Tyree had gotten in trouble for stealing the bike inner tube. He was put on probation for it. He had to go to classes. He had been smoking marijuana, so he failed a drug test. His probation officer told me if I can get him and bring him in, they'll give him drug classes or whatever. He wouldn't have to get in any trouble.
Where are y'all at? I'm sorry.
In South Bend, Indiana.
This is South Bend, Indiana.
Bend, Indiana.
Welcome, South Bend, Indiana. Welcome. Okay, go ahead.
So that day I heard he was with his friends in our neighborhood, which we live on the east side of South Bend, which is why the whole east side thing comes up, because that's the side of town that we lived on.
Okay.
He was at the park with his friends. Later on that day, I seen on the news that it was a 2-year-old. They got killed, and I didn't really know didn't think about what was going on. And then, so what I heard happen, do you want to know where I was or what I was doing or what I heard that was happening with Tyree?
Yeah, I want to start from the beginning. Like, what was going on from the time you got up that morning? How was everybody's energy? Was he there with you that morning?
Yeah, everything was good. Everything was normal. The day before that, there was a fight at the park, at that same park, which I didn't know about until after the incident, or like after this incident happened. Everything came out. But there was a fight at the park the day before. So Tyree and his friends were back at the park that day, and I didn't think anything of it because, you know, the kids all hang out at the park. So
okay. And how far is this park from you?
A couple blocks, walking distance.
Okay.
It's their usual spot to hang out at. Okay. So later on that day, Tyree wasn't home. I heard about the baby that got killed, and I wasn't thinking like Tyree. I knew that Tyree was at the park, like at that time, so I was a little concerned. And then once I got a hold of him and I talked to him, he told me what happened. And
so was the baby at the park?
No, the baby was 3 blocks away. The bullet traveled 3 blocks and hit the baby.
But the baby was outside playing.
The baby was outside playing in the front yard.
Okay, 3 blocks away.
Yeah. So I spoke with Tyree and I figured out what happened at the park. And then I'm trying to figure this out without saying, you know, I can't go too deep into stuff because we're still in court.
I really understand.
So I'm trying to figure out how I can say this without, you know, putting him in a tough spot.
Exactly.
So after I figure everything out that what happened, the next day, Tyree went to the police station. They questioned Tyree. Tyree took some blame for a lot of stuff because he didn't want to be a snitch. He didn't really understand the consequences of the stuff that he was saying. Like, he was a 15-year-old kid. He thought, you know, he didn't take it as serious as he should have. And so yeah, that's how we are where we are now.
Okay. Now we're gonna get into some clips. Okay. These are the clips that everyone has saw, basically, you know, in y'all area and other areas too, because I didn't know nothing about it until I saw the news broadcast. So what I want you to do, because like you said, it's only so much you can say and some things that you can't say. But I do feel like the news is not always right.
Correct.
And anything that's shown on these clips, if you want to address it, feel free to address it. If you don't want to address it, you don't have to. Okay? Oh, here go the first clip.
Who brought the gun that killed Swoblin to that local park?
And should they face consequences, Rick? The prosecution said Bradbury brought the murder weapon and a shotgun. They alleged that aided the trigger man, Robert Griffin. The defense saying that no one intended to kill the toddler, and that, of course, they argue Bradbury even tried to stop the shooting from happening. Swoblin was killed outside his aunt's home on Campo Street nearly 2 years ago. Police said a gang fight led to that shooting. Robert Griffin, the triggerman, was convicted of murder last February. The prosecution argued Griffin used a gun that Bradbury brought to the park. Other witnesses said Bradbury had a shotgun but didn't use it. 3 jailhouse inmates testified today. They told the jury about interactions they had with Bradbury. Terrence Peterson told the judge he said if he would never have brought the guns over, it never would have happened. One of those inmates mentioned a .38 revolver, the gun that police say is linked to Swoblin's death. The prosecution trying to prove Bradbury's connection to that gun. Jurors also heard a 3-hour-long video interrogation between Bradbury and police.
Did you think the 3 hours of him kind of changing his story helped your case?
It's hard to say. It's an unusual situation. It's very difficult for everybody involved, including Tyree, who was 15 years old at the time that this happened.
Has been covering this all week long, and Suzanne, we're hearing that verdict is in now.
We are, after nearly 5 hours of deliberations, Rick, we're headed back into the courtroom shortly to hear exactly what that verdict is. But this, of course, comes after the prosecutor and the defense have been hard at work all week on much of their interrogations and all sorts of things. Now, jurors have to decide if bringing a gun to the South Bend Park is enough to convict Bradbury of murder. Prosecutors said Bradbury brought the .38 that Robert Griffin used to fire the fatal shots and therefore aided in his murder. But witnesses said Bradbury tried to stop the shooting from happening. In that interrogation, Bradbury didn't tell police anything about stopping that shooting, just the witnesses did. Through 3 days of testimony, the prosecution pointed to statements linking Bradbury to the lethal gun. In one point, he said, quote, "I had the shotgun and the .38. In another, he said, quote, "It's all my fault." In another, he said, "Instead of Larry, a little kid died." But the defense tried poking holes in that argument, saying there's no proof that Bradbury ever took that gun from a friend's house or gave it to the trigger man. Bradbury's defense attorney said, quote, "There's no evidence Tyree broke into his house and went over there and gave the gun to Griffin. We have nothing." Now, the jury has a very tough decision before you. As we told you, they have reached that decision. We're headed back into the courthouse again because they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Bradbury brought that gun to the park with the intent to kill when he handed it over to the trigger man. They also have to prove he essentially caused the trigger man to kill Swoland when he handed over that gun.
All right. There are so many different areas that we can go with this. But I think the main thing that I would like to, Jason, you want to pull yourself out? One of the things that I want to mainly focus on is the simple fact that they have no evidence. Did they ever come up with evidence?
The only evidence that they had that Tyree bring a gun to the park that day is one of his co-defendants who got a plea bargain to testify against Tyree. The guns came from his house and ended up at his house. He was also at the park that day.
Okay. But they have no evidence that Tyree, like she said, broke in the house, got the guns, and brought them into the house. Brought them to the park and actually gave it to him.
None. Other than the young man's story, which he changed a good 10 times. He had a story that he was in the shower. Tyree came over. He was in the shower. When he got out of the shower, he went to Dad's bedroom to check and see if the guns were there, and the guns were gone. Like, why would you go check the guns? Like, all of his stories. A co-defendant.
No name or nothing, but this was
one of the co-defendants. A co-defendant.
A co-defendant. Okay. So there's no proof that all that was done at all. But he did go to the park.
He did go to the park.
Now, on one of the clips, it says that he was actually trying to stop them.
Correct.
From shooting.
Yeah.
Or from fighting.
So Tyree was friends with all the boys that were there that day. Even the other boy that was supposed to be a fight between one group of Tyree's friends and another group of Tyree's friends. The intended victim was a very close friend of Tyree's that he grew up with. So I guess when the young man came along and the group of boys that Tyree was with encountered him, Tyree got in the middle and said, this is going to be a one-on-one fight. If anybody jumps in it, I'm jumping in it. When he went to turn, he said a friend pull out the gun. He said, nah, man, don't shoot. And he started shooting.
And that sounds so believable to me. At that age.
Yeah.
Right, I was going to say, that sounds like something that would happen for, a few 15, 16-year-olds.
Exactly. Now, was any of these men out here grown men? Were they all grown?
Tyree was the youngest. There was another 15-year-old. There were 17, 18, a 19-year-old, and I think a 20-year-old.
Okay. And do you know how much time the other people got?
The shooter that had the gun that killed the 2-year-old got 60 years. The other shooter
0 or 6?
60.
Gotcha.
Okay.
The other young man that was shooting, he pled guilty to attempted murder, and he got 35 years. And all the other young men got like 2 years, a year, nothing more than 2 years.
Wow. So is it because, let me play this next clip, then we can understand, everybody will understand why I'm asking this question.
Okay.
So here we go.
They'll be hearing those closing arguments starting tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. This comes after nearly 16 witnesses have taken the stand over 2 days of testimony. But the last piece of evidence that the jury heard today was a 3.5-hour video recorded video recorded interrogation between Bradbury and police. Bradbury told his mother in the interrogation room, "Everything happened because of me." The prosecution says Bradbury brought a shotgun and the gun that killed Swoblin to Coquillard Park in April 2014. Robert Griffin used that gun when he fired at a member of a rival gang, but instead missed and hit Swoblin. The prosecution says without Bradbury bringing those guns to the park, a baby would still be alive. But the defense says Bradbury showed up with no intention of killing anyone. They argue Bradbury even tried to prevent Griffin from shooting. In that video interrogation, Bradbury told police, "I had a .380 caliber pistol." Detective Cook responded, "You had a .380 caliber pistol. What did you do with it?" He responded, "I threw it." Later on, Bradbury said, "I had a shotgun." Detective Cook asked, "I thought you had a .38. He responded, "I had the shotgun and the .38. And later on, Detective Cook asked, "Who shot the .38 that you're trying to protect?" Bradbury's mom intervened, saying, "You need to tell him." Detective Cook said, "Did you really shoot that .38? Bradbury said, "No, I felt like it was my fault from the beginning." Bradbury told the judge he didn't want to testify on his own behalf.
Tyree had just spent several hours testifying on his own through a videotape that was played of his earlier interviews, and he decided that was sufficient, and that he would relax and let the state prove their case rather than getting up there and testifying.
Well, now, Suzanne, Bradbury was very emotional in that interrogation video.
About 2/3 of the way through that interrogation video, Ricky erupted in anger. He basically wiped an entire table full of items off onto the floor. He was screaming, shouting, and even punched some of the walls while no one else was in there.
And how is Bradbury reacting now in the courtroom?
He's been pretty alert during all of this. He's been turning around as different witnesses have come into the courtroom, exchanging glances with some of his family members who have also been in there, which has really caught the attention of some of the guards in there because, of course, that behavior between the defendant and people in the courtroom isn't allowed.
All right, Suzanne.
All right. Now, I do believe that. I feel it. Okay, I hear echo. Is everybody phone on?
Yeah.
Okay. Up it's gone. It might have been mine. But I do believe that Tyree could have been scared shitless.
Yeah.
At the age of 15 years old.
Even the detectives told us that they knew he was lying. Like, you could tell when they were like, "I thought you had the .38. Oh, I had the .38 and the shotgun." Like, he was trying to cover up his lies. A shotgun was never taken to the park that day. Nobody ever seen Tyree with the shotgun. He didn't take a .38 to the park. So the prosecution was trying to add a lot of stuff in there.
Okay. Why do you feel like Tyree said those things?
I think that he didn't want to snitch. I think that he didn't want to snitch, and he felt guilty about what happened because he was there that day. And I just think he felt guilty, and he felt bad for what happened. And he didn't want to tell on his friends.
And Patricia, I'm going to let you know, me and Jason is from Michigan. Jason from Detroit. I'm from Saginaw. Please don't think we've never, ever, ever heard of things like this happening. Don't feel that way at all, because this happens all the time. All the time. You get some guys, older guys, that tell younger guys to take the rap. Say you're going to do, you ain't never had no prize before, none of that. You're going to be just fine. Am I right, Jason?
Yeah. You're going to get a couple years. You'll be out before you know it. Ooh. You know what I mean? When sometimes that's not the case. And I think from just personally from hearing what I hear on these clips and whatnot, I think there was just a space where there was an interrogation where he couldn't, or he probably didn't have the right people around him to have the best answers for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it sounds as if it sounds like a movie to me, right? It sounds like a movie that I didn't see where the detectives and the people got in there and started talking to this 15-year-old before they can get the attorney in there, and then they asking all these questions back to back, and then also saying that, oh yeah, your friend already told on you, and making him, into pushing him into a corner.
Well, let me tell you, we did have an argument that we bring up in court on his appeals. In Tyree's interrogation video, he wouldn't talk, and the detective threatened him with, you're going to go to prison for a long time, and they like little boys in there, and wait till you get Big Bubba as your roommate. And we tried to fight that, and the court didn't care.
Wow. They needed this to fall on someone else's head. I don't know what, like I said, again, this is how, like, one of these movies that, I hope that it doesn't take 40 years to come true, that it was a mishap and he had nothing to do with it, and then he's free. But that by then, majority of his life is gone. You know what I mean? Like, I really hope that. Right.
It's been in there. It'll be 9 years in April.
Yeah, and that's majority of your young adulthood, Exactly. So, yeah, I got questions, but I know in my mind and in this space, there's not much you can answer. So I'm gonna kind of hold back on them, because I don't want to jeopardize anything that does happen to this case going forward.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And at the same time, Patricia, that's why I sent these clips to you, so that you could review them first. But I still feel deep in my heart that you have the right to at least say something, where you can have the space, the support. Because, baby, they out there supporting you tonight. They is in the building tonight supporting you, okay? But it's not fair for you to have to sit here and watch this and can't nobody hear you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At this time, you are Tyree's voice.
Correct.
You are his voice. But we all know that she can't say everything, y'all. She just can't. Because we cannot jeopardize this case. You guys are finna see in this next clip how much time Tyree was facing. Here we go. And she's gonna tell y'all how much time he's facing today. But on these clips is a whole lot different from what she told me and Jason tonight that he's facing. So here we go.
Covering this all week long, and Suzanne, we're hearing that verdict is in now.
We are, after nearly 5 hours of deliberations, Rick, we're headed back into the courtroom shortly to hear exactly what that verdict is. But this, of course, comes after the prosecutor and the defense have been hard at work all week on much of their interrogations and all sorts of things. Now, jurors have to decide if bringing a gun to the South Bend Park is enough to convict Bradbury of murder. Prosecutors said Bradbury brought the .38 that Robert Griffin used to fire the fatal shots and therefore aided in his murder. But witnesses said Bradbury tried to stop the shooting from happening. In that interrogation, Bradbury didn't tell police anything about stopping that shooting, just the witnesses did. Through 3 days of testimony, the prosecution pointed to statements linking Bradbury to the lethal gun. In one point, he said, quote, "I had the shotgun and the .38. In another, he said, quote, "It's all my fault." In another, he said, "Instead of Larry, a little kid died." But the defense tried poking holes in that argument, saying there's no proof that Bradbury ever took that gun from a friend's house or gave it to the trigger man. Bradbury's defense attorney said, quote, "There's no evidence Tyree broke into his house and went over there and gave the gun to Griffin. We have nothing." Now, the jury has a very tough decision before you. As we told you, they have reached that decision. We're headed back into the courthouse again because they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Bradbury brought that gun to the park with the intent to kill when he handed it over to the trigger man. They also have to prove he essentially caused the trigger man to kill Swoveland when he handed over that gun.
Now, I want y'all to see how this turned out, okay? I want y'all to see. And I need y'all to listen very, very closely to what this heifer finna say. Okay? Here we go.
WSBT 22 Suzanne Spencer just stepped out of the courtroom. Suzanne, even though there's a verdict, this trial's not over yet. Jurors already hearing more testimony.
That's because, in addition, Tyre Bradbury was charged with criminal gang enhancement, a charge that could take add many years to his sentencing. This is a charge that many of the guys in this case related to Swoveland's death were charged with right after the fact. Tensions were high, though, as the judge read the guilty verdict for Tyre Bradbury's role in John Swoveland Jr.'s death. The judge asked each juror to tell their court each of their decision. As they each said guilty, Bradbury leaned back in his chair, shook his head. Shortly after, some of his family members walked into the rotunda in tears. But as soon as the judge read that verdict, she told the jury, there's another trial. Under Indiana law, she couldn't tell them about the gang enhancement charge until that verdict was read.
And Suzanne, a whole new trial begins.
Starting right now, Rick. In fact, the state is calling 3 witnesses to the stand, civilian witnesses, as we speak. Patrick Roth is in there listening to that right now. And of course, depending on that goes, the court could be hearing all of this testimony well into the night and also into tomorrow. But at this point, it's too early to say.
And Suzanne, all of this stemming from that one incident at Coquiller Park.
That's right. All of this comes down to one question, and attorneys have been wrestling that as well as the jurors did. Who brought the gun, and should they be convicted of John Swoveland Jr.'s death? But this trial really raises a lot of new questions about these guys' potential criminal involvement, especially stemming back to that day, and also just raises a lot of new questions that we'll soon learn the answer to.
So he was facing 130. Melissa, you're gonna have to either come back down and come back up because you're making okay. He was facing 130 years. 120 years. He was facing 120 years. And they had no evidence at all whatsoever that all he did was bring the gun. And I'm not saying all he did. I'm not saying it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because our hearts still go out to this 2-year-old and to the family, you know, but at the same time, he didn't shoot him.
Right. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. And it sounds, and the way that it's looking.
And the only person who said that he had the guns that day was the young man whose house the guns came from and ended back up at.
Right. That's crazy.
Who took a deal to testify.
He did. Yeah, he took a major deal for that. And then he had to put it on someone else. I do want to talk about the chat right now. We have family members.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Of John in the family. And her name is Sierra. She says, as a friend of baby John, which is the deceased child, the father of the baby killed is trying to help Trey get out because he said that he was young and made a mistake and feel that he doesn't deserve to spend that amount of time in jail. So it's a blessing that we have so many people behind you guys trying to, you know, help this get to.
We do. We're thankful for John's dad. I reached out to baby John's mom, you know, a couple months after it happened, and I didn't want to, you know, I just wanted to let her know that I'm there for her. You know, we both lost a son that day, in two different ways, and that my heart hurt for her.
Right.
And if she ever wanted to talk, I was available, but I didn't expect a response, and you know, I just wanted her to know that I'm there for her, and I've never spoken to her before.
That's beautiful.
It's a blessing. You know, I feel there's a lot of not necessarily conflictions happening in this story, but I feel that they didn't have anybody to pin it on correctly and you know, push it towards the right person that did this, and so they're picking a person, and unfortunately it's Tyree. Like, unfortunately,
Well, no, I wouldn't say that because they have the killer. They know who did the shooting. Why they're doing Tyree like this, I don't know. I don't know. Melissa, what you got to say about it? I really don't know, Jason. We cannot say that they just trying to pin what on him.
That's what I'm trying to
Because
understand.
he in the game? Because they thought he was in the game?
They thought
if that's
he was
the case,
in the
they
game.
all think they all was in the game. If that's the case,
There's nothing to confirm that any of them are part of or is a gang member or a gang
they just
at all.
friends. One group of friends and another group of friends. And I don't know about y'all, but where I come from, we all had groups of friends.
But here's the thing, though: the way that it's being told is that it's not even two groups of friends. It's one big group. They just had a disagreement.
A disagreement. Melissa, what you got to say, boo? Can you talk over there, Melissa? Melissa been having problems since she got up here. Melissa probably said to hell with PEACHY.
She actually's in the chat now. She said I had to move to the chat. My phone is acting up.
Her phone acting up, y'all. But you see, she moved to the chat. She knew what to do. She knew exactly what to do.
She's at work, so
she sure is. Now, Patricia, let everybody know. Jason, read some more comments before I ask her this.
Okay.
Not that big purple one.
I know, yeah. So Jeff hops in and he says it sounds like reasonable doubt, which is I absolutely agree.
Plenty of reasonable doubt.
Yep. And then this clearly is unreasonable, and in no way does this even resemble justice at all. Is a golf club member considered a gang? Absolutely, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a door-to-door, you know, business group, they are considered a gang. You know what I'm saying?
A basketball team is a gang.
Your damn circle of friends. Your circle of friends is a gang, if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in no gang. But I have
a bunch of neighborhood friends.
Yeah, and me and my friends gonna ride for each other. I don't know about y'all and y'all friends, but me and my friends, we gonna ride for each other.
Right,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
everyone involved, it was kids from actually two different sides of town. Like what they say, the intended victim, he was from the west side. Tyree lived on the east side, but they were all his friends, even the intended victim. So is he in two different gangs?
Right.
Exactly.
You know, and I could see it, man. Like, look, I'm not gonna hold you. Like she said, I'm from Detroit, and there's a difference from, you know, west side of Detroit and the east side. I'm representing west side all day. Like I say that now, and I live in Minnesota. Like if I say I'm from Detroit, I'm like the west side of the motor. You heard?
Right.
That doesn't mean that I'm in a whole Detroit.
But our jury and the prosecutor and the judges, they don't come from our neighborhoods. They don't understand, you know, what we're talking about with east side and west side. They don't understand what we mean. They automatically think we're talking about gang banging and all that type of stuff. They don't understand, like our lingo.
Yep.
And like Jason said, you know, he got his little side of town that he was from, baby. I'm from goddamn BV. Blue and white all day long. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't no crip. But the blue and white all day long where I come from, BV for life, baby, BV for life. Shout out to BV. Shout out to BV. But let's get into a comment. Noah, Noah said, I am very familiar with this, as Tyree is a part of my family. He doesn't deserve this. Justice system isn't right for this. He tried to de-escalate the situation and stop it from happening. Then he said, if there we go, if anything, that should be taken into account. He was only 15 and stepped up to the plate and preventing a shouting. Hats off to my cousin. Damn it. Hats off to the cousin. I've seen on Peach, I've been doing Peachy Tea Time. It'll be 2 years on April 30th. Shout out to April 30th. I told you I like the hand clap. But I've been doing it for almost 2 years, and I've seen so many clips where a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old, I don't know if I've seen a 16, but at least up to 15-year-old, where they kill somebody, literally kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And they stayed in just until they turn 18, until they turn maybe 19 or even 21. I think Patricia, and I don't know you, Patricia. I ain't never met you a day in my life except for when we talked on the phone. But as a mother, and for whatever happened that day, if these folks let your son out today, you would feel like he's done his time. He's done his time.
We've never asked for, like, our hearts go out to Baby John's family. Like, we're not taken away from that or from his death at all. All we're asking for is for Tyree time to fit his crime.
Exactly.
We're not saying he's completely innocent. We're not saying that he didn't deserve to do time, just like the other boys, but he should have done time like the other boys.
That part. Yeah. 2 years, 5 tops.
Exactly.
He should be home. Right? He should be home. There should be some justice towards just even looking back at the case itself, like re-bringing it up and trying to get, some of that time, taken off. And I know that's what you guys are doing now. So continue that fight.
Knocking them off.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said we're knocking them off. We're continuing to fight. We're waiting on a court date now, and we got some other stuff going on at the same time.
So we took on a business entity from South Bend, and we had a few shows with that entity for a while. And I remember them saying that there's a particular type of justice system in South Bend that is quite different that you don't want to mess with.
Yes.
And I can't remember
the name.
The
good old boys.
I think that's what they were kind of taught.
We got the good old boys up here.
And what happens is when you get caught by them, it's like, man, it's technically a wrap. Like, you don't want it because they're gonna throw extended time.
Believe me, they're gonna pay off the informants and the jailhouse snitches to tell whatever lie they want them to tell.
And that's what I feel is going on right now, because none of it, like, as a human brain process and as the legal system process, it don't make sense. One, if he didn't shoot the gun, there shouldn't be no more than a few years. Two, if he didn't kill anyone, he shouldn't even be in there for 60 at all. They shouldn't even be putting this towards him at all. And three, like, he's been the de-escalator of all of it, like, at the end of the day, and then he's been acting reasonable in court sessions and talking to the prosecution. Like, all of this seems very, like, coherent to understand, like, okay, we can't, there's no possible way. So I'm my hands are thrown up. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I'm lost.
Even the convicted shooter shouldn't have faced more than reckless homicide. Like, he was being reckless. He wasn't intentionally shooting at anybody. He was shooting in the air.
He was shooting in the air.
Right, Melissa.
And the bullet traveled 3 blocks. So there's no way he could have been shooting straight ahead and the bullet traveled that far. The trajectory of a bullet shooting in the air is the only way that it could have came down 3 blocks away.
But you know what, Patricia? I understand all that. I really do understand all that. But at the same time, I think that I don't think that they shouldn't have got away with anything. Okay.
Yeah, no, nobody. We're not saying that at all.
But the one that actually did the shooting, he should have got more time than everybody, flat out. And that should have been the end of it. He should have got the most time. You know, because at the end of the day, we all know what goes up must come down. It got to come down.
So why you guys keep saying like excuse me for my my illiteracy, like my misunderstanding of this, but like you guys are saying like he should do time or have done the time and not saying that he's innocent. Can you guys tell me what, without getting in trouble or sacrificing or jeopardizing anything? From my perspective, I don't see him doing anything wrong at all. Like, what was it that he did wrong?
He went there for a fist fight. And if anything, what he was guilty of is what they charged the other boys with. Assisting a criminal.
Right. Okay. I can see that. Right. All right. So the fights, then the knowing of that we're about to have a big fight outside. Like, okay, I get that. All right. Now I understand.
Okay. Well, let's get into some of these comments. Jeff said, how can someone have intent to kill someone 3 blocks away without shooting? You are right. He's right. He's 100% right. But at the end of the day, when you decide to pull out a gun and shoot, somebody gonna, 9 times out of 10, not all the time, but somebody possibly gonna get hit. And when you're out there shooting out of anger and you're mad and when I pull this gun out and shoot somebody, I'm gonna hit that person. But he just didn't hit the person.
Right.
Yeah. But
and
also
that's the thing. Hold on. They always say bullets don't have no names.
Yeah.
They don't have no names. So don't even pull it out. Right. If ain't nobody attacking you, trying to hurt you and kill you, and you got your tool, pull it out. Do what you gotta do. But don't, and that's the problem with a lot of these young people. We're not gonna sit here and act like this ain't what's going on in the world right now.
Right.
And it's too much of it going on. The gun should not have never been in none of these kids' pockets.
Yeah.
However they got it, they shouldn't have been able to get it. Whoever that 20-year-old is, he should have been like, nah, dog, nah. Whoever the oldest one should have been like, you go your way, you go that way. We ain't even do that out here. But you got so many people pulling out phones, trying to get these clicks and views, trying to show everybody all this shit. And no, it ain't even about that. Because look what's going on with this little boy right now. Look what's going on now. Look how the news portrays shit. That's why I wanted Patricia up here. So she could tell her child's side of the damn story. I'm sorry, Patricia, girl. I'm sorry. The oldest, I just go off.
The oldest one is actually the one who got charged with the murder. But still, at the end of the day, like, you have to prove intent to charge somebody with murder. Yes, he shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have been shooting. It is going to come down somewhere. But also, that doesn't show any kind of intent. It shows reckless. And legally, how can they charge him with murder when he was being reckless?
And see, that's the thing. They think folks don't know their knowledge about this shit. They think that folks just don't know nothing at all. It ain't that we don't know or we don't have the knowledge. It's that a lot of us don't have the damn money. Okay? Because the money
I think I'm sure that they thought we were just going to roll over and let Tyree do a time. They didn't know that we were going to fight. We've been fighting for 9 years, and we filed every motion, every petition. We've went to the U.S. Supreme Court. We've taken it as far as we can go. And the stuff we're going through now, we're taking advantage of everything that falls into our lap. And I'm sure that they were expecting us, because of the community that we come from, that we're not rich, that we were just going to, roll over and let Tyree do his time.
Exactly. Now, Jeff said, how is Tyree doing in prison? And what is he doing with his time? Because he's been in there for, like you said, about 9 years.
9 years, yeah. Tyree got a GED. He's actually a janitor.
Yes.
He's doing so good. He's thriving. Like, he's got a GED. He's a janitor in his dorm. He's going to school, learning to do like business websites, which he did started like a week ago. Tyree is right up free. He's never been in the hole for anything that he's done. So
If
he's
you
doing
don't let
great.
Tyree out, if y'all don't
Yeah.
let Tyree ass out of there, he
He's a
doing
role
good.
model inmate. He's the role model inmate. Seriously.
Wow. And I know you're proud of him.
I am.
How did you feel? Because we got plenty of time, baby. And I still got one clip that's a surprise for you. But
I
how
hope
did
it's not
you
me
feel?
crying or nothing.
No, it's not you crying.
Or me.
No, it's not y'all crying. It's something else that I put together for y'all. Just a little encouragement
Okay.
for you both. But how did you feel, Patricia, as a mother, when you found out? Y'all, and that's what I want to talk about too. The lady on a news broadcast said that the judge mentioned that she couldn't say nothing about the verdict until after the verdict was read about this gang charge that was going to add an extra 65 years. Now, please let everybody know. Was you surprised just like we were surprised when we saw that on the news?
No, we knew that was going to be part of the process. They couldn't let the jury know because during the trial, they couldn't bring anything up about the gang, any gang stuff during the trial because we knew that the second part was going to come. The enhancement is just an enhancement. It's not a charge without a... so there is no enhancement if he's not found guilty of the original offense. So if he had been found not guilty, he would have never had the second trial for the gang enhancement.
Okay. Was you surprised when the verdict was read?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you what their evidence was. Their evidence was pictures of some of his friends with money in which they had jobs. They had pictures of some of his friends at, each side of town has a reunion every year. They have like a picnic, a cookout. They had pictures of some of his friends at this cookout with t-shirts that say Evil Side.
The East Side reunion.
East Side
which
reunion.
Every side of town has a reunion every couple of years.
Okay.
And so they made it seem like the East Side reunion was like their gang meeting, like thing. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to your town, like East Side reunion or whatever side of town you're from.
We do have that in Saginaw. I ain't never
But
been.
they made it. The police made the reunion look like it's like the gang meeting. That's where they meet up and do their like annual thing.
Wow.
So you telling me if I go to the Juneteenth parade down the street?
Oh, nigga, you in the game. You in the game.
And we all wearing Black Lives or Black History or whatever we wearing. We all gang members now?
You ain't in the gang. You in the damn coat.
What? You telling me something that the community put together that we went to and we proud to represent this fucking ass city that we go and just because I do what we do as 15-year-olds, if I take my $100 to $200 and I made from working hard at Mickey D's and I strip it down to 10s and 20s and I put it on here like I'm in a man, shut the fuck up, man.
But you know,
South Bend do better.
Come on,
South Bend do better.
Yeah, I understand that. But it's a lot of times that a lot of people be looking on Facebook, scrolling, and you see these little young kids with all this money flossing. I ain't even looking at it as in what the police gonna think. You know how I think.
You have to, because that's what it is. That's what they find you.
I'm finna tell you. The way I think go a little bit step further. I don't think about what the police gonna think because these kids showing this money. I think about somebody might rob your ass and kill you because they think you fucking rich. Right. That's what I think about. You know what I'm saying? You could die because you sitting up here showing all your money on live. For what? For what?
Yeah,
and half of these folks ain't even their money.
They had zero pictures of Tyree doing anything. Zero evidence of Tyree doing anything. It was his friends. It was his friends' pictures, and Tyree was in no pictures, no nothing.
But it's a lot of people that is in that stuff. And I know that's why they said I'm saying that part definitely. I know I ain't the only person that feel that way. I be seeing a lot of kids like that. And some of these kids, yes, they do have good jobs. They can put up that money like that. But guess what? At the same time, you can get robbed too. You get robbed too.
Like my sister said, they showed no pictures of my son. All the pictures were of his friends. No picture contained him. They had no pictures of him throwing up gang signs or showing money or having guns.
So do you think the main reason for them going after him like this was because of the interrogation?
Yeah.
I think he was an easy target.
Well,
Absolutely
the prosecutor,
was.
Trisha, what did the prosecutor, so Tyree's lawyer, he wasn't Tyree's lawyer at the time, but he had a conversation with the prosecutor. And that lawyer at the time had asked the prosecutor what he thought about Tyree. He told Tyree that he has the ability to know a psychopath when he sees one, and he believes that Tyree is a psychopath.
And he didn't want him walking the same streets as his family.
A 15-year-old. You can see that a 15-year-old is a psychopath. And that's why the prosecutor was after Tyree so bad. Because he felt like he knew he was a psychopath.
Man, if you don't get your funky ass out
Oh,
of here.
and it was an election year, and it was right before election, and that prosecutor was running for the prosecutor position.
You don't get your funky ass out of here, bro. That don't make no. You literally putting in, and I get what y'all saying. I wouldn't say innocent, but you literally putting innocent people behind bars.
Yes, that's what they do, and they don't care.
Like, for the fact that, like everyone is saying, dude, he's 15, no priors except for a stolen bike inner tube. You know what I'm saying? Which isn't even nowhere near a felony. It's just not even fucking a misdemeanor, barely. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna put him in bars for over 120 years? My nigga? Like, what?
Years. Not days, not months. Years.
I promise
not a whole
you,
bunch of weeks.
when y'all first said 120, when we first started this, I was like, 120 months? All right. And somebody said years. I had to clear my throat. Like, wait a second.
What you mean? What you mean you thought about
That's 4 lifetimes. You know
Jason,
what I mean?
I sent you the video. Jason.
No, I get it. But hearing it there and then hearing it from y'all was 2 different things. I kind of like
it hit different.
It hit different. When Mama said 120, and she like, I know at this point it ain't like like it's weighing on you because they just switched it, but it's like most people will be broken by hearing 120. You say it with a crack in your voice. You feel me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
but we fighting it. I feel it. I see
the videos that I showed y'all, all the way to the end, the last video, that's what he was facing at the time. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Now, when was that video? When was
that was
the
during
trial?
his trial. That was in 2016.
That was in 2016.
He was 17 at that time.
Okay, so he was 17 at that time. It happened in 2016.
Correct.
And we are now in 2023. How much time do he have now?
His earliest release date is in 2042.
And you said they reduced it.
So he was sentenced to 90 years. The judge actually gave him the minimum mandatory sentence for murder, 45 years. The judge sentenced him to 45 years because of the mitigating factors. In his case, his age, testimony, other things. So she sentenced him to 45, which was doubled with the gang enhancement. So he was sentenced to 90. On appeals, we won an appeal saying that his sentence was not consistent with his co-defendants' sentences. It was disproportionate. So they lowered it to 60. And that's where we are now.
Well, I mean, it's better than 120. You know, we want to get him no time. We want to get him out. You know,
Correct.
But what I'm trying to say is, Patricia, it's amazing that you can come on here tonight and say that it has been reduced or it was reduced.
Correct.
Because, baby, when I saw them clips, I was like, what the hell? Oh, my gosh. I literally thought that he was going to be gone for 120 years.
Yeah.
I think I put on my post 130 years. You know, I thought he was going to be gone. So it's a blessing to hear you say that. Now, of course, we do want him to come home now. It's unfair. He's done. I feel like he's done his time. He done his time.
He's done
Now
his time. I think that they should factor in like his behavior since he's been in prison.
That's the next
He,
thing I was about to
he
talk
hasn't
about.
been in trouble. He's a role model inmate. Like he completed all these classes. He's taking college classes now. I mean, they should take all that. He's a man now. He was a kid then.
Exactly.
They should take that into factor with resentencing him, or however they got to do it.
And keep in mind, y'all, I've done shows, I've done clips, and you can go back on my YouTube channel and find them. But I've done shows where I've had show clips where young men 15, 12, 13, 14, 15 has shot and literally killed somebody. And was out by 18, 19, 20. Yeah. 21 at the longest. And here this boy ain't killed nobody.
Yeah, we tried to get him sentenced as a juvenile in the juvenile court when he was in the juvenile court to begin with, and they filed a waiver to have him transferred to adult court. During the juvenile hearing, the detectives were lying. During juvenile hearings, you can't provide or you can't produce evidence or anything like that. There's only the testimony from the questioning from the attorneys and the testimony from the detectives that the judge factors into whether or not he should be tried as an adult. One of the detective that spoke with the intended victim, who the intended victim told that Tyree tried to stop the fight from happening. While he was on the stand, Tyree's lawyer asked him, did he have this conversation with Larry Bobbitt? And did he tell him that Tyree tried to stop it? And the detective said, no, not that I recall.
How
so
you
that
know?
gave him reason to transfer Tyree's case to adult court.
How do they know?
Exactly.
As well as another case. So so a lady's purse had got stolen, and Tyree was walking in that area that day, and the police picked him up and showed him to the lady, and the lady said, no, that's not him. Well, they bring that up also in his little thing to see if he'd be waived over, but they never said that it wasn't him. So it made it look like he had robbed this lady for her purse.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is he like are y'all running for Senate or something like it? What what is this? Jesus, I'm baffled right now that
yeah, our whole prosecutor's office, court, everything here is just shady as it can get.
Absolutely. And that's what it sounds like. We have one statement here. Ty said, she says they wanted to make him an example, and I argue to say example of what, for what, and who. Like, what example is trying to be set here? You know what I mean? Like, I get what you're saying, and I get where it can come from, and I might even said that earlier in this show, but now that I'm really sitting here and letting this sizzle in my spirit, I'm like, dog, what is like there is no example for him right now. Like he's not an example to be set, because what are you saying, that you do nothing but break up your friend's fight, you going to jail for 60 years? Like, what would that be?
I think the more they wanted to use him as an example for the young Black community.
Okay.
And also it was election, and this was a big thing. Everybody knew about it. Everybody heard about it. Everybody wanted somebody held responsible. And this was their opportunity to get this done before elections.
Gotcha. It's a 2-year-old baby.
But what
gun violence.
What are they trying to prove?
South Bend. I get it now. I see it. But even then, when the family of the situation come forward and say, like, y'all doing too much.
Yeah.
Initially, we didn't have any. Initially, the only people that were showing up for court on the baby side of the family was an aunt who was definitely not on our side, and we even tried to speak. Yeah, she worked there at the courthouse, and so she was in and out of all the hearings. She was, very involved. And even when we tried to go to her and tell her, hey, we're sorry for your loss, like she made a big scene in front of the news for people, like we were there trying to like attack her or something. And he like, what the heck? Like, what's going on?
Somebody had a
But we
comment.
didn't have any communication with the family until a few years ago when Tyree had some court hearings going on. We actually won in the appeal court. Tyree won a new trial, and the state decided to fight it. And then so we lost it in the Indiana Supreme Court. And so it was big news again up here. And the dad reached out, and that's where he became
That's
involved.
where he started getting involved.
Yeah.
Now, do we have re-elections coming up soon in your area for councilmen and all that kind of things? Is that around the corner for you guys?
No, we just
we
had it
just had it.
November 8th.
It just passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys get anybody new in the?
No, nobody's
all the
running
same
against.
people?
Nobody's running against the prosecutor. He's gonna say the prosecutor.
Well, as far as in the judges and things of that nature, did we get any new judges at all?
No.
Shit.
I want to go to a comment right quick by
Okay.
Ty Nicole. Ty Nicole said he should have gotten the same time as all the others. They were so hard because he didn't want to snitch on his friend. Ty, I kind of disagree with that. I really don't think he should have gotten the same time as everybody else. If everything goes the way that Miss Patricia is saying, I don't think he should have gotten the same time. If he didn't bring the guns, he was there trying to break up the fight, trying to stop them. I don't think he should have gotten the same time.
Well, no. I mean, he should have gotten the time of the lesser ones because he still was there in the nature of a fight still. Like, even if you like the break, if we're thinking and talking breaking up fight, he shouldn't have had his friends come. Like, he should have been at that moment like, niggas, like, don't come, like, they ain't coming, but they were
how
already
we know
there.
he had them come?
Hmm?
How we know he had them come? You got 20-year-olds out
Well, no,
there.
I didn't say having
Ain't
them, but I mean,
listening
like,
to
he's
no
just,
doggone 15-year-old talking about come on.
I feel
So
you.
we
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you.
The detectives and everybody pretty much in this case they picked and chose what they wanted to go off of. Like,
Absolutely.
okay,
That's what it
Tyree's
sounds like.
interrogation,
Yeah.
he's saying he had the guns, but the convicted shooter says in his interrogation they had the guns before they even met up with Tyree.
Oh
But
yeah,
they
I was
didn't-
gonna throw that part in.
They didn't
So
even think
he-
about that or care about that.
Yeah.
The shooter,
I mean, if he didn't bring it,
Wow.
he admitted that Tyree wasn't even around when they had the guns. That the guns were already in the car when he was picked up, and then they met Tyree at the park.
the guy that did
The guy that got convicted, yeah, for murder.
The shooter.
The shooter.
So he said in his interrogation, which we couldn't.
Hold on, Miss Patricia.
Okay.
Listen, you gotta realize we on PEACHY time. You know, you guys like
My
shoot
bad.
the guy that did this shit. You can say that.
Dude, that
Go
kid.
ahead, Miss. Go ahead, Miss Patricia.
So, in the interrogation video of Robert Griffin, who was the young man that was charged with the shooting for his bullet killed the baby, in his interrogation video, which we couldn't use because he had to plead the fifth because he was going through his court stuff too. In his interrogation video, the officer asked him, he said that Daniel, which is the young man who testified against my son, whose house the guns came from, and the house that the gun ended back at, he said Daniel, Therese, another young man, the other shooter, and Malcolm picked him up. When they picked him up, Daniel had the .38 on his lap and the shotgun on the floor. The detective said, well, didn't Tyree have the shotgun? He said, no, this is before we met up with Tyree.
This is crazy.
Damn. Yeah, they out there trying to make a staple in South Bend. They say we even putting 15-year-olds in life sentences. So don't be out here in South Bend doing nothing.
And I want to add to what else they did as part of their corruption. So day of closing arguments, Robert Griffin, the shooter, his mother had contacted us and asked us to call him to the stand because he was at the county. Everybody was bring back to the county in case they wanted to testify, plead the fifth, whatever they're going to do. Well, while Robert was at the county, so she wanted us to call him to the stand because he needed to speak. So come to find out, the prosecutor went and spoke to Robert at the county and I guess slid a piece of paper across the table and told him, if this is what you say, we'll take 15 years off of your life. She said that he told her, he read the paper and was like, I want my freedom, but I don't want it that bad. And at this point, we had already done closing arguments, so there was nothing we could do. But that's just one of the things that they've done, is try to coerce him, bribe him, like, and him and Tyree.
I think her phone went out.
Let me get that. Yeah, let me get that.
Look, we both
15 years
like
off.
him and Tyree. What? What did you say? You went
Him
out.
and Tyree, Robert and Tyree weren't even friends like that.
They had never really met before that day.
Yeah, and Robert, he could have easily just took that 15 years off real quick. But he was like, no, I'm not going to get up there and lie.
Patricia, can you say here today that he was hanging with the wrong group of people? Or these was just his friends?
They were his friends.
They were his friends.
Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna because we still got a little bit more time that we can talk about this. But I made something for you. It's just a little bit of encouragement. Just a little bit of encouragement to keep you going, to keep you getting through this, okay? So for you, I will be sending it to you through email so that you can always have it. And here we go. Even though your winds blow, I want you to know you cause me no Lord, 'cause I'm safe in his arms. Even though your rain falls, I can still make this call. Let there be peace. Now I can say, go away. I command you to move today because of faith. I have a brand new day. The sun will shine, and I will be okay. That's what I told the storm. I told the storm. Oh yes, I did. Storm, you can't last. Storm, you can't last. That's for you, Miss Patricia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Patricia, I must tell you. Baby, Tyree is fine. Okay?
Thank you. And
Tyree
he knows it. He knows.
She said he knows it.
He knows.
He is a very, very, very handsome young man.
Thank you.
I do believe deep in my heart that he will not spend all that time in there. Somebody will see, somebody will notice. I'm going to put the call number up right now. And again, y'all, if you don't have nothing pleasant to say, don't call. You know, this number is really for the people that can actually help. Because that's what they need right now. Patricia, let them know what you need right now.
Well, right now we already have some really good lawyers. We have a man out of Indianapolis who had taken Tyree's case for free. As far as the federal habeas, the attorney that he has fighting his other case have been with us. Like, I really feel and believe that he really cares. Like, he's doing it not for the money, not for the case. I think he's doing it because he really cares about the stuff that's going on in our community.
Awesome.
So as far as like legal help, at this point, we don't need legal help, but more like people to help with the awareness, to try to get some stuff changed and like the laws, like anything like that.
Yes.
And like, we've got a few things coming up. We're going to need like the community involved to try to get into the prosecutor's office, to try to get some of these people out of there. Like, we need a rally, really.
Exactly. Where are you all at right now?
I'm in Niles, Michigan, but
No, in
I'm
the
in
the process.
in the process. We filed for it's called a successive petition for post-conviction relief. Usually you only get one post-conviction relief, but we filed under newly discovered evidence. The jailhouse informant that you seen, Terrence Peterson, who said that my son told him that he brought the gun that day, had come forward that he was fed that information and given promises and a bunch of stuff in order to say that by the prosecutor
And the police.
and the police.
Wow. Well, I thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. I really do. I'm gonna let you guys end the show tonight. So what I want to do at this point, y'all, first of all, pray for this family. You know, pray for everybody. But don't forget this family while you praying. Don't forget Tyre Bradbury. Okay? Don't forget him in your prayers tonight. Because if we all don't agree on one thing, we all agree that he shouldn't be in there that long. Now, let me say something. I'm going to pull everybody down. And then I'm going to pull Melissa up. I'm going to pull Jason up next. Then I'm going to pull Melissa. And then I'm going to pull Patricia. And I want Patricia and Melissa to just pour your heart out. And what I want you to do is, this is what I tell everybody that come on. Melissa, I want you to pour your heart out on how it feels right now to have your nephew in there.
All right.
And how bad you want him to come home. Patricia, what I want you to pour your heart out about is how you miss your son, how you wish he was home with you, and also, what do you want to say to the family that lost the 2-year-old? Because I still don't want that to get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? I know, Patricia, I know you understand me when I say that. You know, so I'm going to pull everybody down because I got something I have to say. I want to say. Okay, hey, y'all. Hey, boos. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight on Peachy Tea Time. This is something that we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. But Wednesdays is our designated day for the families to come on. The families come on and they talk about situations that Miss Patricia came on and talked about. But we also talk about missing persons, someone that was murdered through gun violence, domestic violence, the prison system, or even by the police. And everything that you see and that you have heard that I just said, we have had a family for each and every one. Each and every one. But what I want to say about this story tonight is this. At the end of the day, he one of us. At the end of the day. We have enough black men out there in prison. Some in there for something that they didn't do. Some in there for stuff that they did do. Some in there because they ain't really did that much shit, but they did some shit. You know, and they just in there. But at the end of the day, it's too many of them going in there. It's too norm in our community to go to jail and to go to prison. It's too many young people out there that's taking risks and either thinking that it ain't gonna happen to them, they ain't gonna get caught, they gonna be just fine, or I'm just hanging around with these people. These are my friends. And I'm just hanging around with them. I ain't got nobody else to hang out with. These people know me. They the ones that decided to take the wrong path. But these all I know. You see what I'm saying? So when I tell y'all, continue to pray for these kids out here. These young adults. Even the 20-year-olds. 21, 22, 23. Pray for them. Just because you 18 and grown, they just say you grown. That don't mean you grown. That don't mean they can go out there and face what's going on out here in this world today. That's all I really gotta say. You know, it's sad. It's sad that Tyree gotta go through this. Especially if all Tyree did exactly what was said tonight. It's sad that he had to spend his time in there like this. If anybody that can help this family, please reach out. And they're going to let you guys know where they can be reached at. But if you just happen to forget, you can always reach out to me and I'll make sure I get in contact with them. I definitely will. So make sure we didn't go into none of the commercials tonight. I guess what I can do is I can play the commercial at the end of the show because it is a commercial that I definitely want to play every show. But right now I gotta bring up Jason so he can say what he got to say, baby. Okay.
Yeah, you already know what it is, man. At this current moment, you know what to do. Don't follow me, man. Don't come looking for me. I can't do nothing for you right now. Please go look for Patricia Henderson. Please go look for Melissa Jackson. Go look for the family, the Bradburys, and help them in this situation in getting Tyree out of prison. He has served his time. He has done what he has needed to do. He has been, rejuvenated, or however the system calls it. So let's get him out, man. Let's do our best to do what we can to help this family gain peace again and get their son, their brother, their sister, their nephew, their cousin back at home so he can get, his feet on these ground 10 toes down and live the rest of his adult life as a free man. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for this time, and thank you, ladies, for your story. Thank you for being vulnerable on our platform. We appreciate you wholeheartedly. I'm praying for you, and we'll do our best on our end to make sure that the story keeps moving. And do better, god damn it. Motherfucking South Bend, do better. Shit.
Do better, South Bend. Do better. That's all we want you to do is do better. We want everybody to do better. Everybody. But I just got something to say, Jason. I got something to say. Now, every time on Peachy News, okay? Every time on Peachy News, Jason probably got an idea what I'm about to say. Every time on Peachy News, Jason come up here and he be like, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about these families. And he always said, after I done said, make sure y'all go ahead and follow me. Make sure y'all come and watch the show. He always do that. But it's okay, Jason. No, let me tell you. It's okay that you do that. And I love that you do that. But at the same time, y'all, I want y'all to understand, I have to continue to promote Peachy Tea Time because we need the families to come in. Jason, you ain't even know I was gonna change it up like that.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah, you ain't even know I was gonna be
right. You ain't know.
He ain't even know. But seriously though, we need these families to continue to come in. Now we are booked all the way to February 1st. Shout out to God. We are booked all the way to February 1st for every Wednesday. Every Wednesday up until February 1st, we will have a different family on. Telling their loved one's story, because that's what it is. They're telling their loved one's story. So I do hope and pray that you all continue to watch, continue to show support to these families, continue to share. Ain't no clickbait over here. We ain't no clickbaits. It ain't no, oh my gosh, I need a whole bunch of views. It ain't like that. It's about bringing awareness and making sure that y'all goddamn, how can I say it? Be aware of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much going on in the world right now. This baby was 3 blocks away, Miss Patricia said. 3 blocks away, playing, having a good time. Be aware of your surroundings. Be cautious when you're out here in these streets. There's a lot going on, y'all. It's a lot going on. And at the same time, make sure that your family has your support. If Tyree didn't have the support of his family, baby, Tyree would be gone. Gone. He got the support of his family and his community, baby. And now he got the support of Peachy Time and Peachy Time community. And that's what me and Jason is here for. That's what me and my husband Poolie is here for. That's what I am here for. We gonna have the support regardless, as long as we know it wasn't no crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? We gonna support. In this case right here, we gonna support. He's done his time. Let Tyree go free. If some of them kids got 2 years, that mean they out. They out. Tyree been in there for a long time.
No, they been out. They didn't started a whole new life again. They out.
Exactly. And he should be just as well. So y'all, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'ma still put up those comments. Don't even worry about it. I got y'all. I got you. We're gonna put the comments up on the screen. And then right now we're gonna bring Melissa. Melissa's gonna come up and she's gonna tell exactly how she feel right now, how she feels about her nephew not being here with her. And then after her, we're gonna bring Patricia up, Tyree's mom. Here we go. Oh, and Patricia and Melissa don't get off after the broadcast. I'm in the broadcast and then I want to talk to y'all for a minute. Okay. There you go, girl.
Hey, again, thank you, Peachy and Jason, for this platform. Really, I mean, like Trisha said, all we need is support. We need community support. We need everyone to get together to overturn, like, we're the only country that has, like, his case was falling under felony murder rule, and we need that abolished. I mean, aside, baby John was a baby, but Tyree was a baby to us, and we need him home. I mean, he's been an inspiration to his little brothers, his cousins. Like, they're all on the right path because of his words to them and his actions and him doing good while he's in prison. Like, really, we need more community support. Like, we've been quiet for so long, and it's time to speak out. And stay tuned for what we put together to get the community together for this. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for everything. And Tyree will be home, and I have no doubt that he'll be great when he is home.
Like my sister said, thank you all for your support. Everybody that showed up tonight, all your comments and your motivation. I don't be all emotional, but it's been, a rough 9 years without Tyree. We missed all the major milestones so far, his 16th birthday, his 21st birthday. I got to see him get a GED, which was a good thing, but he's grown up in prison and he's seen things, he's seen murders, he's seen a lot since he's been there, but he's matured, he's grown, he's becoming a better person. He's learned a lot from this experience, and this experience has changed our whole family, for the better. And I've always believed that Tyree is where he's at now for a greater purpose. And I think when he comes home, he's gonna do a lot for our community and kids that were going down the path that he was going down.
Look, I'm sitting up here talking about I love you, Miss Patricia. I love you, girl. I'm on mute.
I was trying to liberate.
When I tell you this, at this time, I applaud you. Because this is not easy to come on the platform and tell your loved one's story. It ain't easy at all. And the case is still open. I've had people that told me, I can't come on right now, but I am gonna come on as soon as the trial over, as soon as the case over, I'm gonna come. So I applaud you for coming on, trusting me with your story. Patricia, I was nervous. I was nervous as hell. I just didn't want to tell you that. But I was nervous because of the clips. You know, that's what I was nervous of, because of the clips. The news has a way, the media has a way of putting things out there that would just have your mind like, what? What going
They
on?
made him.
What's
They
happening?
made him out to be a monster.
They did.
And I
They
think a lot of that was fed from the prosecutor. He would sit out there with the media every day after hearings and tell them what it is he wanted them. Like, they never really asked for our insight. It was him, them, and the prosecutor would sit down and discuss whatever they wanted to air that night.
How does it feel right now to be able to get everything off your chest? Is there anything else you want to say at all? But seriously though, how does it feel to get everything off your chest?
It feels good because we've been wanting to for a long time, but we've also been trusting that the justice system was going to do the right thing. And we've won a few times, but it's always been, you know, little victories. We haven't won the war yet. We and everything that we do win have been overturned. So we still have a chance because a lot of people are seeing that something's not right here.
Exactly. I agree with you.
And yeah, I think that now that we need to make some noise and let the community know what's really going on. Like, we've been quiet for too long.
I agree. I agree. I cannot, Patricia, I cannot end this show without this young lady telling her thank you. And that's Loria Perez. If it wasn't for Loria Perez, you all probably wouldn't see Patricia and Melissa here tonight. Loria reached out to me, and she's from South Bend. And after the whole situation, we're not going to get into it, but after the whole situation with Bernardo and Justice for Michiana, you know, I didn't know who was rocking with me, was from South Bend. And when Loria reached out to me, baby, I could have hit the floor because I knew it wasn't nothing but God. I knew it. And she is the one that's responsible for bringing your family here to PEACHY Time. So how that has been working with Loria?
Tyree and Loria's son that passed, Tony, were best friends.
Wow.
We grew up in the same neighborhood. So they were friends. And Tony actually passed while Tyree was incarcerated, a few years after Tyree was incarcerated. But Loria's always been there for Tyree. Like, she still communicates with him. He calls her. They write. Like, she's always still been there for him. She knows the true Tyree.
Exactly. And shout out to Loria. Loria has been on PEACHY Time before just as well, to share her story about her children that was murdered through gun violence. A story that was like, I would never forget that story. You know, I would never ever forget. You know, so for things to turn around and for her to bring a family on the PEACHY Time is just everything. So Loria, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I love you so much for you know, just stepping out and reaching out to me. So anybody, no matter where you are, anybody that would like to come on PEACHY Time to tell your loved one's story, please, please, please reach out to me. You can email me at peachytime at gmail.com. Let me take this off. Hold on. peachytime@gmail.com. There you go. Or you can DM me at the Mrs. 2007 and IG. You can inbox me at PEACHY Time, you know, whichever way, get at me. I am looking for activists just as well. We need activists throughout the United States that can bring families onto PEACHY Time so that they can tell their loved one's story. And also, again, just get some type of healingness. You know, this is a lot. This is a lot. And again, Miss Patricia, my heart goes out to you.
Thank
I have a
you.
5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I just couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine going through what you're going through right now.
Mm,
But I promise you, I'm going to continue to pray for you and your family.
Thank you.
When Tyree get out, so that's how we talking. We're going to speak it to existence. When he get out, Miss Patricia, I'm going to need you to tell Tyree he better bring his ass on here on
Oh,
PCT.
he will.
Tell him we don't want. He better come out. He better come out. Tell him don't be nervous. None of that. Tell him we got him. We got him.
Well, he already plans to work with Loria when he comes home, whatever she thinks would be, however he can help with her, everything that she does in the community.
Awesome. That is just awesome. Well, y'all, thank you so much. Patricia, I'm going to bring you back down. Is there anything that you want to say, at least to the people that has been supporting you, helping you through all of this journey? Anything you want to say to them before I bring you down?
Yeah. Thank you all so much for your love and your support, for helping me get through this, for motivating me, for staying behind us, for listening, to being there for Tyree. I appreciate all of you.
All right. Chewy said he understands. That's my dog over here. Y'all heard him say, he said he get it. He understand. Well, thank you so much. What did you say? You froze. She froze up on the y'all. If I see her come back in at the bottom, I'll make sure I bring her up so that she can say her finals. She still froze, y'all. She still froze. But y'all, again, thank you all so much for joining tonight. I know it's a lot of y'all. This is y'all first time joining me. Please continue. Please continue to watch the show. We have a wonderful time on PEACHY Time. We really, really do. And everybody out there, they can tell you. We have a good time. So we gotta go. Let me see. I think Tyree. Oh, she said they think Tyree was calling you, Patricia. Hold on, there she go. It's on mute. We can't. Well, it's not on mute, but we can't hear you. Can you come down and come back up? Come down and come back up again. Okay, we gonna wait for her, y'all. We're gonna wait for her. While we wait for her, we're gonna go back into the because she gonna pop right back up. We're gonna go back into her encouragement. Okay, this is her encouragement that I made for her. Here we go. Even though your winds blow, I want you to know you cause me no, Lord. 'Cause I'm safe in His arms. Even though your rain falls, I can still make this call. Let there be peace. Now I can say, go away. Okay, y'all, hold on. He's still on there? It's we can't hear you. Come down and come back up again. Go completely down and come back up. Y'all, she has Tyree on the phone. So we're gonna try to see if we can talk to Tyree. So I'm gonna play the video again. She has Tyree on the phone, okay? So when she come back up, hopefully we'll be able to hear her. Here she is. She's back up. Oh no, we can't hear you. It must be because he's on the phone, and that must be the reason why. Because we can't hear you. It won't work. Oh, y'all, we was gonna get a chance to talk to Tyree. Oh, I really want to talk to him. His little cute self. Here we go. Even though your winds blow, I want you to know you cause me no, Lord. 'Cause I'm safe in His arms. Even though your rain falls, I can still make She back. Let's see if we can hear her. Oh, she went back down. She went back down. I think it's because she's actually on the phone. So I think that's why it's not working. We're going to try to bring her up again. Okay, can you say something?
Yeah, he hung up.
Okay.
And I was not gonna let him talk or let us talk while he was on there.
Yep, that's what it was. That's what it was. And we would have loved to talk to him. We definitely would have loved to talk to him. If there's a way that you can record a call for him in the future and you want to send it to me, just his
Okay.
thoughts on what he want to say, I'll be more than glad to bring you back on and we can play it live on PGT
Right.
Time.
He
Okay.
just wanted me to tell everybody thank you for supporting him, and he hopes to be out. See you all soon.
All right. Well, we are definitely praying for him. Would you like to see the encouragement one more time?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Even though your winds blow, I want you to know you cause me no Lord, 'cause I'm safe in his arms. Even though your rain falls, I can still make this call. Let there be peace. Now I can say, go away. I command you to move today because of faith. I have a brand new day. The sun will shine, and I will be okay. That's what I told the storm. Yeah. I told the storm. Oh yes, I did. Storm, you can't last. Storm, you can't last.
Return, peachy return. Peachy return, peachy return, peachy return. Thank you for